Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice.
Macy's After Christmas sale has all the stuff Santa missed. Get an extra 20 or 15% off with your Macy's card or pass. Treat yourself to 25 to 45% off fine jewelry. Dresses that almost never go on sale are 25% off. And get an extra 30% off men's basics when you spend $50. Now through January 1st at Macy's. Savings off sale prices, exclusions apply. Macy's Star Rewards now offers perks everyone can love no matter how they pay. Sign up for free in-store or at Macys.com/Star Rewards.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey everyone, this is Renee Lowe, and you are listening to The Queen's Lair. We are a laid-back podcast, a little section of the company that just allows us to be a little bit less politically correct than how we are in our everyday 9-to-5 lives. So my company is Onyx Queen Media, and that is a small business. I am a female entrepreneur. We are 100% Black-owned, which I think is amazing, and I think that that's going to be very key in these next few weeks that are coming, especially with the new president-elect that we have coming in. I think that Black-owned businesses are definitely going to have to start what I named this podcast is stop talking about it and be about it. And we've got to make a lot of changes. There's a lot of changes that have to transpire, and we only have a few more weeks to kind of get our ducks in a row. But my company, Onyx Queen Media, is a small branding and event planning firm, and I have a good set of clients right now who are in the lifestyle industry, especially the foodie industry. So I work with celebrity chefs, people who are food bloggers and things of that nature. I took some time off. I took a couple weeks out because, first of all, I had to get past the election. That's number one. My candidate did not win, of course. I've been very open about, the facts of me, and where I stand politically. And I will say this, I don't think it's so much about being, well, as it has been lately, I don't think it's so much about being Democrat versus Republican. I think it's more of the mindset of the haves, the have-nots, elitism and cronyism and all the other isms that come with the different parties and where they stand on certain things, because there are certainly a crop of Democrats that I absolutely don't agree with everything that they say. I don't automatically flow with a party, one particular party just because of the name. So let me just make that clear. But, yes, I have been a career Democrat for a very long time. It was very hurtful when Bernie Sanders was no longer in the running. He would have probably been my top pick as far as I was concerned, with this 2016 presidential election. But I think that him realizing that he probably isn't going to get to that point to be nominated. There was a lot of dissension in the Democratic Party this go-round. And there is, I would say, and let me just preface this with this because I know that, for some of the newer listeners, I worked in politics for almost 15 years. So, and when I say I worked in politics, I mean I worked for a company who had legislative tracking products, and I was one of the account managers and then went on to become an associate director. So that is what I left working at that same job for 12 years, having been in that industry for almost 15 years, to going into being an entrepreneur and working my business 100% of the time. I always had a business on the side, but I made that side hustle my main hustle, which is Onyx Queen Media. So those were my clients: the House, the Senate, Library of Congress, and the embassies. So I was in their offices every day on the Hill with my rolling suitcase and teaching them how to locate bills that would support their different agendas, them coming up with bills, because as we know, lawmakers, they are the ones who make the law. They write the bills. They put all these things together every single day. They're on the floor voting, every day. So it was very interesting to see from that point of view, from literally the inside. I was working alongside the members, working alongside the chiefs of staff in the Senate and the House. So I definitely know the political game and how it works. And, I definitely have a political side to me that I do, even though I haven't been working in that industry in, almost 8 years since I've been working my business full time. I still keep, abreast of what's going on. And I'm still very much the person that scans CNN.com and scans, all the different MSNBCs and, that sort of thing. So I'm always keeping up with what's going on. But I really want to address the title of my podcast this go-round is Stop Talking About It and Be About It. And the reason why I named the podcast this is because after taking a little bit of a break after the elections and then Thanksgiving happened and, we just kind of had to gather back up as a people. And by the people, I mean Black community. It's the only community that I can specifically speak on because it's my community. And it's what I'm a part of. I can't speak to the Asian community. I can't speak to the white community. I can't speak to the Latino community. I can't speak to any of that. I can only speak to the Black community because that's a part of who I am and where I'm from. So as a Black business owner, as a female Black business owner, I think it is so imperative that we stop talking about it and be about it. Stop talking about all the things that you're going to do. Stop talking about all the things that you should have, could have, would have. This is the time right now that we need to start paying attention to our collective economics. And I have to admit that right after the elections, I sparred with a lot of people online, and that's usually not my thing. But I really had to explain certain things to people about even the voting process and how the electoral college votes work, and just the kind of the inner workings of political happenings. Because I realize the more I talk to people, the more I realize how uninformed people are when they go to the polls, especially when it's a presidential election, which quite frankly is just one election that you should be concerned about. The most important elections are truly your local elections. Your local elections, your state elections. Those are the people who are representing you in Congress. Those are the people who are representing your cities, your mayors, your governors, your city aldermen. All of this stuff, you have to show up. You can't just talk about, I want to do this and I want this to change and I don't understand why there's still a pothole on 55th Street or whatever. All of those things you can control. Yes, you can even control the potholes in your street. And when they get fixed, every single city, well, I'm originally from New York City, and of course that's where I grew up. I lived in D.C. for 15 years, and now I live in the Atlanta metro area. But I will tell you this. The city, most cities, and I can speak definitely for New York and also for D.C., they have a certain amount of days that they need to fix, even a pothole in the street. So you know that pothole that your car keeps going in all the time? Once you report it, they have a certain amount of time. The city has a certain amount of time that pothole needs to be fixed. But people don't even pay attention to, and I know that a lot of people don't know this, but there are certain protocols that your local municipalities or whatever you want to call it, that they have to adhere to. But because the public is so uninformed and so at this level of lack of understanding, they don't even know what their rights are. They don't even know that you can call up the mayor's office. You can meet with your local officials. Now, am I going to say you're going to make one phone call and they're going to, spread out 2 hours for you? No. But there are open city meetings and things that you can be involved in to make change. So when I hear people complain about the elections and they're so upset and, we have this president, elect coming in that is not who you wanted, and he's a racist, and he's a bigot, and he's a, misogynist, and he's all these different things, and it's like, people, first of all, if you sat back and you didn't vote at all, which we do know now that 49% of the American population who were eligible voters just chose to blow it off. I mean, that is devastation within itself. And I was talking to a friend of mine who is actually from Australia, and she said, this is really bothersome to me. I mean, this woman lives on the other side of the world, okay? And she's like, this really bothers me because voting here is compulsory. And I said, what? She's like, yeah. It's not even just only your right and your civic duty. She's like, it's compulsory. So I said, wait a minute. So you're telling me that if you don't vote on election day, you will get fined? And she was like, yeah, you get fined. And I was just like, how interesting is that? I did not know that about Australia, that I learned something new. Like they say, you learn something new every day. I was completely shocked by that. I was like, wow. But that just tells you how serious they want people to be. And too many of people that came before me, forefathers, however you want to say it, too many came before me to fight for the right, got spit on, shot at, beat with sticks, bitten by dogs, run over, hung from trees, and all kinds of ridiculous and heinous crimes for me to sit back and lay in my bed and say, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to be about this change. And one thing that people should know about me is that I am so much about change. One of the things that I think we have to tackle is collective economics. That means we need to start getting together and making sure that we are partnering up. There is a new website called tastebuds.net, TASTEBUDDZ.net. We're starting from here. There's going to be a whole lot more that's coming, but we're starting small. Tastebuds.net basically is going to list, and it's already up and running, it's going to list all of our black chefs, black caterers, anybody in the culinary business. We want you to add your listing there because your listing is going to be so important, and this is worldwide. We want to make sure that we know who all the black chefs are, who all the black caterers are, anybody in the culinary field, that we can support each other's businesses. And this is no joke. We're going to rate you. We're going to talk about the businesses, and we're going to learn how to make and build each other's businesses up. There will be a real estate aspect. There will be contractors. There's a whole bunch. Tastebuds.net. Let's start there. Collective economics. Stop talking about it and be about it. If you want to get in touch with us, you can get in touch with us online at www.onyxqueenmedia.com. Our email address is info@onyxqueenmedia.com. We are everywhere on social media, especially Instagram. onyxqueenmedia.com is open for anybody to comment and just like, subscribe, all of that. And I think if you hear, I live next to a train, so I think you can actually hear a train going by. That signifies the end of this podcast. And I'm actually going to leave it in because I think that's so funny. But thank you so much for tuning in again this week, and we will be back next week with another great podcast and collective economics. Stop talking about it and let's be about it. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.